I'm a boomer, today is my 70th birthday. Happy birthday, man. By the way, is there anything you've done in your life that you don't regret, like having kids, or getting married? I'm only 15, so I'm not sure about the future, don't really care either. Is there anything you've done in your life that you don't regret? I don't regret 99% of things I've done in my life. Like having kids, or getting married. I never did either of those things, and I don't regret it. Not sure about the future, don't really care either. It's gonna be just fine. If you're concerned about the virus, it will pass in time. It started in China and they're all but over it. You're going to be just fine from the standpoint of your own health. How much can you remember of the past? My parents used to tell me to take many pictures because I might forget about those experiences. I'm only 15, so I don't know if that's true. Kind of a difficult question to answer. I've always been very forgetful even when I was younger. If an experience was very memorable, you won't forget it, even when you're an old frick like me. Everyone has a smartphone that holds thousands of pictures now, so when in doubt, snap a picture. My pa, also a boomer, just started using the internet. What advice would you give him to assimilate to this new world? You're gonna need to babysit him to a certain extent. Make sure he doesn't fall for a pop-up ad or give a Nigerian prince his banking information. But show the basics like YouTube, Amazon or Facebook and he will be alright. Do you have a wisdom to share? Take care of your health. It'll be the most important asset you have when you get older. I've been clean from self-harm for just over 2 years, ask me anything. I know that people typically have a lot of questions and are curious about self-harm since it's not often talked about, so I figured I'd answer any questions that people had. Plus it might help me to talk about my experiences. Smiley face. Content warning, obviously. Please read with discretion. Sorry for all the questions. What did you do to harm yourself? How does it feel after harming yourself? How was your first experience with it? Did anyone ever find out? What would you say to people who are in your old situation now? Don't apologize for asking a few questions. It's all good, I am happy to answer them. So please don't apologize. Smiley face. I had a few methods that I'd switch between. Most of the time I would cut myself with blades I would pull out of a razor. Sometimes I would dig my fingernails into the palm of my hands or into my thighs. I still find myself doing that quite a bit, especially lately because of anxiety, but 99% of the time I am able to stop myself before I do any kind of damage. And I would very rarely burn myself using a lighter or curling iron, but I've only used that method a handful of times. It probably makes me sound crazy, I hate that word, but it felt good sometimes. It felt calm though too. Like it felt good to release pent-up emotions, feelings. It never physically hurt me, caused me pain though. A lot of times I would end up feeling regret afterwards though, and feelings of, oh my god, what did I do? I don't exactly remember, to be honest. It was, I think, 9 years ago now, and I kind of pushed the memory out of my mind. I do know it was by the method of cutting though, and I was in 9th grade. Yes, people did find out. A couple of close friends found out a few months after I first started self-harming. They caught a glimpse of my wrist since I was doing it there at the time. I was usually very good at hiding them, but every so often people would, unfortunately, see the scars or whatever. My parents did find out later on though, they were not happy at all. I would tell them that it doesn't solve anything and that there are better, more productive, safer ways to deal with whatever is going on. Also, if you're struggling, please talk to someone. You are not a burden and the people who care about you will listen and be there for you. I know that kind of stuff is said a lot, but it also happens to be true. It won't solve your problems or make you feel better. It just makes you feel shitty and makes you lie to the people you love. It is not worth it, and there is always help out there. People will be willing to help you. What made you do self-harm? It was a bunch of things, if I'm being honest. I started doing it when I was a teenager, so I had all your normal teenage feelings, angst, and that definitely played a part. I'd chalk it down to stress, not feeling worthy enough, loss of friendships, feeling like I'd messed everything up and things like that. I am probably stressed, not feeling worthy enough, and feeling I've messed things up. I'm so sorry you feel that way. I'm sending you a giant hug. When I was 13 years old, I was raped by my mother's 58-year-old partner. Bombard me with curiosity, AMA, and help unravel the wave of peculiar stories. This is not just an AMA. I'm intrigued to see raw reactions, know where people's interest in my life experiences sits, if any at all, and I want to see what information y'all can spark. All of my memoirs carry a few twists, that's my life. It's a bumpy ride. This one is especially peculiar. Build on the title, what more could it possibly lead to? Feel free to ask the basics, the outrageous, the relevant or seemingly unrelated. I've debated for a long time about telling my story. I never really got a fair chance before. People always like to speak for me. Now it's my turn, so don't hold back. Breathes out. Disclaimer: if I was going to get triggered, I wouldn't have posted this edit. Wow, y'all are incredible at this. It'll take a minute to write. I know my replies are long. I'll write a short and direct answer at the beginning of replies. Feel free to skip the rest if it's too much for you. Or I recommend using text-to-speech. I don't want to repeat or rephrase, it's very emotionally and physically draining. I'm trying to simplify these complex events as much as possible, but I also want to include details because these are important events, and without some details, other aspects are taken away. Point is, it's all relevant and I don't wanna just brush over it. Thanks everyone, I really appreciate this opportunity. Take care. Thanks again for the kind messages and interest. Do you resent or blame your mother at all? Great question. I like this one and it's very dear to me. I think about this every time I talk about it, even think about my ex-mom. I call her and hi, I'm British. When I was a child, I didn't resent or blame her for anything in my life. I just loved my mom. I did have resentment towards her for other small things though. I'm starting to think I might have been in denial, or avoiding hurting our relationship over skepticism, or that I thought was just me being upset. I definitely did that. I just don't know if deep down I truly did resent her a thing. As an adult, I do blame her for some things. I spent a long time analyzing and coming to that conclusion. There are things that her actions, lack of, undoubtedly provoked and made worse. In my professional opinion, essentially she failed her duties as a mother. I can say that without hesitation, and that was just the tip of the iceberg. She had never once apologized. When you hear people say I'm so sorry for something that they had no association with, at least they're expressing that they care. She didn't even do that. A few months ago I sat her down and had the talk with her. She always starts arguments when I mentioned anything negative about my life. I simply recite my experiences and she randomly accuses me of emotionally blackmailing and blaming her. I've literally never considered, let alone said it out loud. I straight up asked her if there's anything at all that she'd ever wanted to apologize for. She ummed and I said I'd give her time to think about it. Which is BS, but highlights how much benefit of the doubt I've given her. A few weeks later I asked again and she said no and started an argument. I thought, how could she say that? How could she think such a thing? That's what put the nail in the coffin. I was heartbroken, but by that point I was unsurprised, and glad that I finally had one solid answer. Have you been to therapy? If so, how has it been? Are you still in therapy? Do you like your therapist? Was never offered therapy regarding it, and last thing I as a child thought to request. Was forced to go to therapy for other things. Only ever found one psychologist useful. She was the most chill and kind doctor I've ever met. All the people she worked with are corrupt. She wasn't in the slightest, never mean, and she handled things professionally and just how they're supposed to be handled. We don't talk about this situation much. She let me be in control of the sessions. Jesus, that's fricked up. I'm sorry this happened. How are doing mentally today? And, to brighten up the mood a little, what's your favorite food? I'm okay, I'm just chilling. I was literally gonna order Chinese dishes. I've been debating on treating myself for weeks. That's probably one of my favorite food. Cold sweat smile. I seriously love food. I gotta use your approach, it's brilliant. Rolling on the floor laughing. Thank you. Open mouth smile. I'm curious, what's your favorite food? Kids keep trying to climb on my roof and it's funny yelling at them through my window. AMA. Edit, got given platinum for first time, so thank you VVV much. Edit 2, IRLY didn't expect everyone to find this as funny as me. Edit 3, I'll give y'all the video if we can hit 1000. At this point, do you think you've become that person who all kids living in the neighborhood fear? I hope not. Tears of joy. Tears of joy. I just don't appreciate it cause I sleep naked and with my window open because it's blocked off behind my house for the most part, so usually I don't have to worry about people seeing me. Literally had to get out of bed to tell this kid to leave. What do they climb up there for? My friend, neighbor said his phone got thrown up there, but I looked and couldn't find it. What are you yelling? I only got to yell get off my goddamn roof, but he actually shat himself. Tears of joy. Tears of joy. I just found out today my mother killed herself. AMA. My mother's phone went straight to voicemail for over a week. My sister contacted my nana and she contacted my uncle to go to the house. We were waiting in a deserted parking lot for a phone call saying she was okay. My nana eventually called and asked for my dad's phone number. My mom and dad have been divorced for years. We got home and my dad broke the news. I'm 14, and I don't have all the details, but you can surely ask me anything since it really hasn't set in that she's dead yet. My mom died last Sunday. I know what you're going through because I'm currently going through it. Good luck to you, and if you need to ask for help, ask for it. People will gladly help you. If you need to talk, I'm here. I know everyone says that, but, yeah. It sucks, but I believe we'll both make it through this. I'm deeply sorry about your mother. As you said, we will get through this together. I believe in you more than I believe in myself. And if you ever need anything, I am here as well. I am so sorry to hear that. I send nothing but strength and love to you and your family. What was your favorite memory of her? My favorite memory of her was every time we went on a drive together. We always talked about everything, and I even admitted my sexuality to her on one of them. I could always confide in her. My favorite drive was the one down to Philadelphia, and we talked for hours on our way back to the house. I'm so sorry. I can't imagine what that feels like. It feels like a shit dream that you're about to wake up crying from. Then I'd call her and tell her how much I miss her. But I'm still stuck in the shit dream.
Believing in me and giving me this chance.
Subscribe.
He said it.